Lessons from Candy Crush. I will admit the fact Candy Crush has impacted my life positively. And am now addicted to it that I cannot get through days of the week without playing a little Candy Crush. In my defense, it's one of the simplest ways to make long subway rides in Manhattan bearable. The other day, though, I was quite amazed on what Candy Crush taught me about succeeding in business. As I keep on playing the level, I noticed my mindset swing into the belief that I was going to win the round. And I did. As I thought about what happened, here are the business success tips that came into my mind as I played the game. The first thing is that each level of Candy Crush has a goal. You must do things like make striped candies, create color bombs, or drop fruit down to the screen. You must have a goal to accomplish to move to the next level. Do you get that? As an entrepreneur, you need to formulate goals for yourself. And when you might have achieved those goals, you get to move on to the next challenge that is ahead. That new challenge will help you to set new goals. Those new targets may have something in common with the old ones, or they may be entirely different. Always know which game you are playing and the rules to win that game, and stay with them. On some Candy Crush levels, as of this article, I am only on level 230. I have found this helpful as to how simple it is to make striped candies and color bombs. And I get caught up in seeking out these combinations or avoiding a bomb. Then, I realize I have gotten completely distracted from the goal of the level I'm on. In fact, I don't need striped candies. Or the bomb has more turns to explode than moves I have left in the round. So exploring them doesn't matter to the goal. In your business, once you have set a goal, you need to focus on it. Activities you do on a daily basis need to align with that goal. You need to quickly call yourself out when you are doing anything that distracts you from that goal, unless, of course, you are taking a break to allow yourself to recharge. I have played some levels of Candy Crush for what seems so long. I go to the walkthrough cheats. Often, I learn that the strategy I am using is the right one, it's just not paying off for me. I return to the level, frustrated, and wondering if I will be able to make it this time. If I have the mindset that the level is just not winnable, I usually lose. The other day, though, I stared at the game board, and I realized I can win. Candy Crush. I just knew with absolute certainty that this was a challenge I was prepared to meet. It was uncanny, everything came into focus, the goal of the level, where I was on the success meter, and what I needed to do to meet the target. I mentally knew I was going to win. And I did. There was some logic, some luck, and a core belief in my capabilities. All of these things are vital to your success as a business owner. First, the going gets tough. There will be days, as a business on the side owner, that you debate whether you will ever be able to do your business full-time. Full-time business owners, you will have ups and downs. And in a down moment, you have to make the decision to stay in the game. All of this takes a strong belief in yourself. Every day I turn the Candy Crush booster wheel and get an excellent treat I can use to make a level simpler or to help me win a level versus repeat it. I often talk myself out of using these boosters because I feel I should be able to do this by myself. It's just a principle thing, like I'm saying I am less capable if I use one of these boosters. Well, what about your business? Just where are you turning down help? It could be due to cost. But make sure it's not because you believe you have to do everything yourself. That's just nonsense, and will guarantee failure. Because there aren't enough hours in a day for you to do it all yourself and make money. Help is within your reach. And it's okay to use it. The other reason I have caught myself avoiding to use a booster is I might run out. Isn't it ironic? Every day we get a new booster. And I'm worried that I'm going to run out. At any moment in our businesses, we may have a small financial crisis. If you look around, although money could be everywhere, the fact that it is not in your bank account now does not mean it will not be there. You have to believe in the flow of money and that there is always more out there that you can attract. Dr. Gleb Tsipursky, cognitive neuroscientist and behavioral economist, CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, multiple best-selling author. Read full profile. Have you been wondering how many past scenarios in your life could have turned out differently if you only knew the right way to react to them? Do you find yourself vowing to respond in a better way to similar situations if given a chance? You are not alone, not everyone is born with top-notch social intelligence. Many people allowed opportunities to pass them by just because they were not attuned to the nuances of their social interactions. In truth, They could have avoided a lot of personal and professional disasters if the conflicts had been analyzed and dealt with correctly. However, to anticipate and handle critical social interactions with grace, you have to build up and tap into your social intelligence. In this complex world that we live in, you'll be glad to have social intelligence backing you up as you navigate increasingly tumultuous waters. To start with, most people associate intelligence with just the general type as it relates to analysis and reasoning. That's all well and good. But there are also other forms of intelligence, which factor significantly in human interactions. For one, there's emotional intelligence, which refers to skills in understanding and managing your emotions. Emotionally intelligent folks can identify and evaluate these emotions and ultimately control them. If you were able to confirm that a misunderstanding or miscommunication occurred, take implicit or explicit blame for it. Apologize for what happened, regardless of whether it's your fault or not. Instead of being misleading, you are using a diplomatic way of bringing up the issue so that the other person can still save face. The latter will be grateful to you for doing so, especially if they are the ones who misunderstood or misread the situation. Then, be explicit in explaining what you'd like to see and draw clear boundaries that you don't want to see crossed. If there aren't misunderstandings, and there is a conflict between your desires and the other person's, you may have the meta conversation first. Take a step back with the person you are in conflict with and talk about the discussion that you are about to have. Instead of simply diving into the battle, convey something like, "Hey, it looks like we disagree here," and figure out the nature of the disagreement. If you realize that you are at fault, take responsibility and apologize to the other person. After that, discuss what you will do to prevent this kind of problem in the future. In case someone else is at fault, though, don't expect them to apologize or take responsibility, no matter how nice that would be. Many people are emotionally afraid of losing face and social status and will refuse to apologize or be responsible for their actions. Regardless, don't let this get in the way of resolving the problem. Steer the conversation into what can be done to resolve the situation now and what can be done to prevent the same thing from occurring later. If the disagreement is about what should be done about an issue, explore the reasons behind the conflict and be emotionally sensitive when doing so. Minimize blaming the other person and take blame quickly yourself when it's appropriate. Differentiate what is definitively known versus what is assumed and then gather a reasonable amount of evidence to test assumptions. Finally, look for ways to resolve the disagreement in a win-win manner. Being a human being can be hard, and we all want positive, productive, and genuine relationships. When you use these social intelligence skills correctly, you will be able to get the best out of each interaction. And those you interact with will also place more confidence in you due to your consistent and transparent display. No one becomes a loser then even after the toughest of conflicts. There's no doubt that social intelligence plays a crucial role in forming and fortifying human interactions. Learning and harnessing social intelligence skills will not only keep you highly relevant but also turn you into a trusted influencer in your personal and professional circles. Disaster avoidance experts, never go with your gut. How pioneering leaders make the best decisions and avoid business disasters. Know more about them in this guide. What is emotional intelligence, and how to develop it? As mentioned above, social intelligence exists. 2. It is especially crucial during this pandemic when our routines and relationships have been rattled, if not upended. The uncertainty in the air calls for more careful handling of social interactions, specifically when dealing with new life scenarios, physical distance from our colleagues, and social changes in our close personal relationships. Most people tend to simplify being socially intelligent into merely being friendly or approachable. But the truth is, learning to develop and harness your social intelligence can spell the difference between seeming approachable and having the capacity to build secure connections, diffuse conflicts, and communicate long-term solutions. Social intelligence is the capacity to evaluate and influence other people's emotions and relationships by knowing oneself and others. It develops through time and experience with people concerning success and failure in social settings. Even more significantly, some social intelligence-based skills and methods will allow you to break the ice and strengthen trust in valuable relationships. Check out what socially intelligent people would never do. Socially intelligent individuals tend to have an extensive, efficient network of social connections that they can rely on personally and professionally. This is because social intelligence comes with a set of powerful skills that you can use to build, maintain, and improve relationships. The following skills can help you identify key people, understand and pay attention to them, and smoothly resolve any conflict that comes up during different scenarios. As you go through life, you will meet and regularly interact with people who have a significant impact on your journey. They are your life influencers. Life influencer has a significant impact on your personal or professional growth. Your long-term success hinges heavily on a continued relationship with this individual. The influencer cannot easily be replaced. Your time-tested relationship with this person has already yielded continuous positive effects on your life. You can identify who this influencer is by assessing the impact of past advice or interactions. The relationship is mutual, you can identify what you need from the influencer and vice versa. Your goals and desired results are aligned with this person. Go beyond the surface level and try to understand the people you interact with. Whether you've just met them or they are one of your life influencers. In other words, when they are communicating with you, you need to listen to what they mean and not just what they are saying. Your goal is empathy, the skill of understanding what other people feel. Focus not only on their message's content but also on their tone and body language. By doing so, you will be able to figure out the meaning behind their words and what explains their feelings. One of the best ways to demonstrate empathy while engaging with others is by showing them that you are paying full attention to them via. Another way to show your undivided attention is by echoing and mirroring, which uses one or a combination of the following methods. Rephrasing the essence of what your life influencer is saying with your own words every 1 to 3 minutes, if you do it right. The person you are talking to will be grateful for your attention. If you don't, they will be thankful that you checked and will correct it. Using their jargon, notice specific words that the other person is using relevant to the issue and integrate them into your echoing. Mirroring their tone and posture in broad terms, for example, if someone is speaking formally, do the same thing. If they're leaning towards you, do so as well. Just pay attention to their body language and tone and try to match it. But don't try to mirror everything quickly. When done correctly, it will help people feel connected to you and trust you. You can also convey how you understand the person you are interacting with by building rapport. You need to help them feel that you are on their side and that you are a part of their tribe. Without explicitly stating it, signal that you grasp their emotions, goals, incentives, values, and obstacles by doing any of the following. Use humor to help bring down defenses while avoiding making fun of them or what they value or using sarcasm as it's too often misunderstood. Instead, you can lightly make fun of yourself since you're the safest target. Remember that the most impactful humor feels spontaneous. However, you can build it in, and people will still appreciate it. Injecting some genuine curiosity in your conversations will go a long way in expressing your sincere interest in your influencer's needs and concerns. It will help facilitate effective knowledge sharing and further refine your understanding. To do it correctly, try to envision what someone wants you to ask them. Express curiosity in your questions without coming off as probing or provocative. Keep in mind that many people may not want to reveal their emotions directly. So a practical approach is to throw an indirect question at them. For example, you can say, "If I were in this situation, I would feel blank. How about you?" You can also share a story about someone who felt an emotion that you think the other person is feeling in a similar situation and see how they respond. Manage your feelings and then try to resolve the conflict through social intelligence. As a proactive measure, try to scan your relationships for signs of conflict. Don't give in to the temptation of ignoring potential disputes in hopes of seeing them disappear because that's when minor molehills turn into major mountains. Remember that a great deal of conflict comes from misunderstanding other people's emotions and focusing solely on the content of their message. When you start noticing growing tensions, check for misconceptions around both. Be diplomatic when checking for misunderstandings and treat the situation as a miscommunication on your part. Business Insider, How to Disagree with Someone Successfully and Still Effectively Communicate. New Harbinger, The Blind Spots Between Us, How to Overcome Unconscious Cognitive Bias and Build Better Relationships. Cognitive neuroscientist and behavioral economist, CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, multiple best-selling author. Text source, lifehack.org.